Hey, Howie, how are you?
Hey, Cameron.
Hey, yeah, it's Cameron.
Nice.
Hey,
I'm well, man. How are you?
I'm good. Um, yeah, I'm just trying to finish up this website real quickly and um, yeah, just try to get you set up for class.
All good, man.
Yeah, and you just got a call from some warranty service. Um, yes, I'm not too sure who they are, but they want to talk to you.
Uh,
I'm gonna have them call back at around 12:30 once class is over, but yeah, she has to specifically talk to you.
Warranty service.
Yeah.
This is definitely a sales call.
I don't.
You can take down their info and then give it to me, but don't give them my cell phone number.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Yeah. In general, don't give people my cell phone number. Like even agents, like don't give them my cell phone number because like what they'll do is they think, oh well, Howie is my 24-hour concierge, and yep, I'm not down with that.
Yeah. No, Brian was telling me that like I guess he gave his phone number out and then he's harassed by three different agents. So
Yep.
uh,
It's because Brian is so sexy.
Brian, you feel was so funny. No, it's because Brian is so funny. Yeah, he said very good.
I like the point in the back. He's like, I see you, bro. Oh man.
Yeah, I guess we'll wait till. Honestly, I don't know how the turnout's gonna be because there's that webinar happening today.
No problem.
A lot of people are at that.
No problem. It happens.
What happens? All right, but I'm here. I'm gonna mute myself again, but let
Do
me
you
know if you
think?
need anything.
Yeah, no problem, man. Hey, Lance.
Hey, how's it going, Howie?
Oh, it's going all right. How are you?
Doing well, can't complain.
I like your background. Where is that?
I think it's a Star Wars background.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks. There's always a lot going on in the back, so I gotta put one on.
Yeah, things are a little bit. I don't know. I have a cat that might run around, but yeah, nothing too
That's all
crazy
good.
over here. So yeah, this was sent out like not too long ago, so I don't expect too many people. There's also another webinar that's going on
Okay.
apparently, so I don't expect too many people to go on. Usually when that happens with these quote unquote tech when these tech classes happen or whatever, it kind of branches into a little bit of like well obviously a little bit more of like a personalized meeting where you can ask a lot of questions, and I can kind of drive and give you some ideas. Now, I guess my first question is for you: is are you a new agent?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. And when did you come on with Larchmont? You just muted yourself.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. In July.
Oh, in July. Okay, awesome, cool. How's it been going?
It's been going okay. I didn't really do a lot until maybe a month or two ago. I just
Okay,
been cold calling and knocking on doors and trying to really step it up.
okay. No, that's good. That's good, man. Well, welcome, and I'm here as an IT director
Okay.
for Larchmont, and a couple of the other offices. You have somebody behind you. It's very funny. No, sorry. So yeah, I'm their IT director, and basically I help them, kind of just keep things running okay, and keep security up and stuff. But for the agents, I can help you with anything, right? Like I say to Joey and all the agents during the team meeting, I say, hey, listen, you have me for 15, 20 minutes. I can call, you can call me and ask me anything. If you need me to clean spyware off your computer, if it takes 15 or 20 minutes, I'll take care of it. If you want to ask me about how to set up your business and how to like strategize and like, do social media or marketing or how to position your business correctly, even with like, setting up, LLCs and whatnot. I can help you with that. It's anything that takes 15 or 20 minutes or less is on KW. So utilize me for that.
Okay.
And yeah, but if nobody else pops on, you have me for quite a while. So you can kind of pick my brain about things also.
Okay, cool.
But okay, we're about 6 minutes in. I'm just gonna start kind of going over a couple things that I wanted to go over. I guess I'll gear this more toward a new agent. Not training, because obviously KW does a lot of training, and they have all the stuff for that. So I don't want to like kind of contaminate that. But I do want to go over. Sorry,
That's okay.
You're-
That, that's why I have the background.
I just see somebody like trying to be all sneaky in the
I know.
back. It's so funny. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
It's now this is COVID, right? This is COVID times, and
Exactly.
it's crazy. It's all good, man. All right, so I'm gonna gear this toward a little bit of like a new agent orientation, like from the tech world, and I'll guess I'll ask a couple questions. I'll say, well, what email address are you using? Are you using the KW email address, or are you using your own?
I'm using my own.
Okay. And are you like keeping up with command, or do you have your own kind of CRM or whatnot?
I haven't really been keeping up with command. I use a Excel
Spreadsheet.
spreadsheet,
Okay.
but I've been trying to. I've had a problem with getting my eye contacts onto my computer. For whatever reason, the Outlook won't set as the default, so I can't. I don't know exactly what's going on, but I basically can't use eye contacts on my PC. And that my goal was to use my eye contacts as my CRM,
Mhm.
and then just transfer everything over um to um command.
Okay.
But that hasn't worked, so I've just been kind of using Excel because it's easier for me. And I have my own categories that I put people down. It's just faster when I'm trying to cold call and put things down.
Right. Okay. Um, the number one thing that so a quick little tidbit about me. Basically, I have my own, I guess you want to call it, IT consulting company.
Okay.
It, IT is very relative because technology touches everything now. So
Right.
like, yes, while I have people who work for me that can fix computers or like help set up printers and whatever. That's not the main thing that I do. I do a lot of strategy. I do a lot of business continuity. I'm in construction. I do a lot of things. So um, I like to make sure people are set up correctly, and I also don't like making life very difficult for them. So, whereas I would normally say, well, you really should go into command because command is very powerful with a lot of things, where you can run campaigns through it, like marketing campaigns through it, and like it it does a lot more than Excel. Don't get me wrong, I love Excel. I live in Excel, but like I understand how powerful it is, but right for it's not right for a CRM. It will be great for a reference, especially if you have it on your screen the whole entire time, but it won't pop out at you and be like, hey, this person you haven't contacted in 3 months, especially as you call more and you network more, you're going to
Mhm.
get a ton of people and you're just going to forget. I mean, that's the bottom line. The most, the the most organized of people are still going to forget, and that's why they created CRM, and that's why CRM is such a gigantic business, right? That's why Salesforce is this behemoth of a company. Um, so uh, right now, I'm going to tell you, fine, do what you're doing. Excel is totally okay because I want you to be as efficient, and I want you to be efficient as possible. And when you're doing the calling, as long as you can kind of knock things out, that's totally fine. But once you start having those warmer leads, it becomes it. A couple of them is okay because then you can just kind of keep them on top of your list, or you can kind of put them, you can export them out somewhere, or you can create another tab or something like that. But once that warm lead gets bigger, it becomes very difficult to kind of keep track of, right? And
Right.
with CRMs, it it is annoying because you have to obviously do the admin work on it, but it's incredible when you can look at it and see like, hey, when did I call this person last? Oh, all right, we talked for 7 minutes, and like, oh, if you have notes on what the conversation was about,
Mhm.
awesome, right? And it seems like it's all easy stuff, but they put it all together, and it's pretty awesome. And then you can send them, hey, like let's write an email to all my potential clients, and we can go from there and basically say, oh, like, I can send you an email about like how the real estate climate is, or, the climate in this one particular area that somebody is looking to look at, or is somebody looking to purchase in, or you can tell them, hey, like, the median home price of your area that if you're looking to sell went up, 15% month over month, like the last three
Uh-huh.
months, stuff like that. So you can really gear things toward that. But so again, I'm not trying to blow up the way that you do things, but at the same time, I do want you to keep in the back of your head that you want to start doing things correctly, or going like doing things more correctly,
Mhm.
as I like to say, um, because if you continue down this road, you're going to get complacent, and you're going to be like, this is the way I've always done it. And you're just going to get stuck in it. Right. So I want you to get into a good
Right.
habit where you, you form a good habit. Right. So like you get into a CRM, and I'm not forcing you to go into like command is provided for you already. Right. So like, that's
Uh-huh.
why it's good. Um, and it's pretty good, and they're constantly improving it, and they actually take feedback pretty well, which I was actually shocked about. So um, go force yourself to go into command, force yourself to put these leads in, force yourself to do that, and it will eventually become second nature, like Excel is to you, and it will
Mhm.
ultimately be way more powerful. It won't stymie your growth later on. So my other questions for you. So what did you do before before you started getting into real estate?
I worked in customer service and hospitality,
Okay.
a little bit of sales too, but that was a while ago.
Okay. Well, a real estate agent is very much so customer service. It is definitely hospitality in a way also, and it is 100% sales, right? So um, my advice to most newer agents is um, to let people know that you are a real estate agent without
Mhm.
berating them with, hey, I am a real estate agent. You have to sell with me. You have to buy with me, right? Like you need to do it subtly. Some people say be more aggressive. I personally have never, I've never really seen aggressiveness work that well. With some people it does, but for the majority of people, I feel like it's not, because even if you look in your own friends group, you probably know at least a couple other agents, right? It's
Mhm.
real estate agents are they're everywhere, so you need to be able to differentiate yourself from, why would somebody buy with you, Lance, versus somebody like a Tiffany Chin or somebody like a Pete Bonacore, who are two super successful agents in at Larchmont, right? Um, you need to create you need to create a marketing hype in a way, or either a marketing hype to get somebody excited to work with you, or you need to create a relationship, and the relationship is a lot easier to create in the beginning because um, uh, that's that is going to be your main selling point right now, right? Like you can't tell people, hey, look at the 90 transactions that I did in the last 3 years. You don't have that yet. So your relationship, your personality, your attitude, your dedication to your client, that is going to be your main selling point right now, right?
Mhm.
Why would your best friend John sell with you? Well, because he's your best friend and he wants to support you, right? Like, you are a business. You need to a lot of people who are real estate agents don't like completely soak that in. You are a small business, right? You need to think of yourself and you need to run yourself as a small business. You want to you don't want to just be like, oh, well, I'm a real estate agent. I'm just gonna, oh, I kind of work when I want to work, and like, I kind of take clients when I like have to. No, you are a small business. You should be working as if you own a business, right? And you should be keeping track of everything, and you should be kind of in the mindset where you are a small business. So I want to make sure you could be doing that, but I want to make sure that I kind of set that in your head if you weren't thinking like that. Um, which brings me to kind of everything else, right? So you have to figure your CRM situation out, which is
Mhm.
just in case, like I said, KW Command is there already for you, and it's pretty good. Um, you should be figuring that out now. You have your own email address, which is great. Um, I sometimes recommend people even shelling out some money and getting a business phone, or if not, then getting a Google Voice phone, because you can manipulate the phone number so that like people don't like you can have off hours, and like people have to go through like some sort of step to like reach you, because sometimes giving them your cell phone number is a little bit onerous,
Mhm.
but people like ignore calls now anyway, so it's not a big deal. Um, but the other thing is that I want to make sure that you have all your technical stuff kind of in order, right? So yeah, okay, if you have like a really old laptop and it's really slow and it's slowing you down to the point where like you have to wait like a couple seconds between like you clicking on something, that kind of that kind of inefficiency is terrible, right? Because that will sap your kind of motivation very quickly. And if you're like on a roll, but then like your computer is like slow and it needs like even 15 seconds to think about like going down like a couple Excel lines or something like that, that will sap your productivity also. So like I want to make sure that like you realize that time is money, and you know, while not everybody can go out and buy like a brand new MacBook Pro or something like that, you need to have decent equipment in order to work correctly, right? And then on top of that, you want to make sure that um, your your data is stored correctly, right? So um, just make sure you have backups, right? You have backups of your information. You have at least one other backup. I don't suggest just having like an external hard drive. I suggest my my world. I came from a world of finance. We had a tripod minimum of where your data lives, and it would be one in the live environment, one in a backup environment, and one in an offsite environment. So if you use like Google Drive, or if you use Dropbox, or if you use stuff like that, make sure that all of your business related stuff, your real estate related stuff, lives on your Dropbox and on a backup, and maybe like on your live computer, right? Because right now you just start off, so it's not too bad if you were to lose stuff, but it would be frustrating because like,
Mhm.
you've been calling for a couple months. You know, you have notes on that stuff. Never assume that Google's not going to lose your data. Never assume Microsoft's not going to lose your data. It happens, right? And that's why there's backup for stuff. So um, just kind of keep that in the back of your head. The other thing is that you want to make sure that you test your backups. So again, you're starting off, not a big deal. I don't know what backup systems you have, or I don't know what systems you have in place, but make sure you test your backups once every so often, right? Because a backup that doesn't work is not a backup at all. So, you
Mhm.
know, like maybe after your first year, sit down, call me up, be like, Howie, hey, listen, I remember you telling me about this backup stuff. How do I test this? And you know, I can walk you through it. You know, just open up your sheets once every so often, make sure they're updated, make sure things are backing up, and you know, you can go from there. Any questions so far?
Um, no, that makes sense. Yeah, I need an external source. I have a cloud for Microsoft OneDrive, but yeah, it'd probably be good to make sure something's on an external drive.
Yeah. Um, your internet bandwidth is very low, and it keeps you keep artifacting out a little bit. Just giving you a heads up.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah, there's a lot of people using the internet right now, unfortunately.
Okay. No problem. Um, so all right. The next thing that I usually like to go with is well, hold on. There's only you here, so let's well, I don't know. Do you have I don't know, what questions do you have for me? Like do you have any, you know, general marketing questions, or, you know, even IT questions or whatever whatnot? Like I can
Um, yeah, I mean, like I said, the one thing is kind of bothering me not being able to have the eye contacts on
right,
my computer
right.
because that makes it less inefficient when I want to, because it takes more time to go on the phone
Mm,
at someone versus that's been kind of an issue. I don't know how I've watched a few tutorial videos on how to fix that, but um, I haven't really had a it hasn't really been that you can't hear me.
I can hear you now, but like the other times it was like I think I got the gist. You were talking about like the icon tagging, but then and then I caught something inefficient, and then I was like
So
so
on the iCloud,
mhm.
it doesn't allow me to use eye contacts. So it won't transfer the eye contacts from my iPhone to
Mm.
the computer.
Oh, oh, okay. iCloud. Okay,
Yeah,
I thought it was icon. Okay, okay, okay.
eye contacts. Well,
All right. So yeah, iCloud, you would have to. So it would be a 2-layer export. You would basically have to export the iCloud contacts to like Google, for example, or something. And then
okay.
from Google, you would have to re-export, you would import them to Google or something, and then you would re-import them or re-export them out into command. So it's a two-step,
Okay,
it
because
would be a two-step process.
there's a Microsoft app for iCloud, but it's not very good. And then that's the issue that I'm having is having the Outlook set as the default
Right,
email or something like that.
right. Are you
Yeah.
um so I'm assuming you're using a Mac.
No, I'm using
Oh,
a
you're using a
PC.
PC.
Mhm.
Oh, oh, that's very weird. Okay. We can. Hmm. Can you show me your screen?
Yeah, to be honest with you though, I tried now I have a whole different issue because I tried uninstalling the iCloud.
Mm-hmm.
I'll show you my screen, but it's not even installed in the computer. I don't think it's like a glitch. It says it's installed, but It's not really. So when I go and click on iCloud, it does nothing. So and before it would go to the process of like, there was other things that it synced onto the computer.
Mm-hmm.
But iCalendar and iContacts were the issue that I was having. For whatever reason, it said that your error code, this number, your Outlook is not set up as default.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do me a favor and uh, you can literally just go to wait, hold on. Your screen is a little bit.
Oh yeah, I'll stop screen share.
No, it's okay. You can go to type here to search, and then just basically type in default apps. And then when you open up default apps, the first thing should say, "Oh, Outlook." Okay. So why is it not working?
Yeah, the Microsoft app has like 2 stars. I think a lot of people are having problems with it. It's just not very good.
Okay. Yeah, I wouldn't use like an app for that. You probably can just let me you might be able to do something.
But I can't even show you right now because I'm having issues with the uninstall and reinstalling it because it says that it's already installed. And when I click uninstall, it won't do anything. And it's still, it uninstalled at one point, but it's still on here. So I'm not quite sure. See, if I do this, the last 2 times I did it, it was still on the
Oh yeah, don't do
computer,
it
so I'm
that
not
way.
quite sure. There's just all kinds of issues. I went into devices and programs
Yeah.
and uninstalled it that way the first
Okay.
time.
And
So
it's still there. Interesting.
yeah,
Okay.
but you know what? I mean, that's fine. I don't want to spend a bunch of time on that. That's
Oh,
just kind of like,
no problem. So what you can do also is just reinstall or basically get the installer, and then when you double click on it, because it might see it as installed, you repair the app, and then you can re-uninstall it that way.
yeah. What was interesting, you said something about like creating an LLC. I did a little bit of research on the taxes, and I guess there's a way that you can, create a business and then have your money that you make go into that business, and then you can create a S corp or something like that, so you don't have to pay your small business taxes or your self-employed taxes, something like that.
Yes. Yeah. So it starts to make sense after a certain amount of money.
Okay.
But it won't make sense until you get there because the cost and administration of the S corp will exceed the cost and or will exceed the single entity pass through LLC. Because basically that number is somewhere actually, even you can even talk to like people who, do these like accountants that do this like for a living. They even say like, once you're around like the $200,000 mark, that's like when it really starts to make sense. When you're underneath, they'll say, oh yeah, you get to save, let's say you make $50,000 a year. They're like, oh well, you'll save $4,000 to $5,000 a year not having to pay the self-employed tax or the whatever tax. Yeah, but when you're an S corp and then you're W2ing yourself, there are a lot of things that you need to pay for, right? Because now you're essentially an employee. And once you're an employee, even though like you're exempt from a lot of stuff in California, there's still a ton of stuff that you need to do, right? There's you need to pay for workers' comp, and you need to you got to pay for unemployment, which you're paying for anyway in with the single entity LLC.
Right.
I personally wouldn't go into S corp quite yet. If I were you, I even me, like I'm a relatively high earner, and I haven't even gone into an S corp because it 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 it's it makes sense at some point in time, but at the same time, not really, because then the administration goes up, right? And then now you have to pay somebody to basically take care of all this stuff for you every month, right?
Right.
And then the other problem with S corps, and these are the thing, and don't get me wrong, right? Like there will be a time when you should be an S corp, but the other problem with S corps is that I don't know your marital status, but like uh, if it's just you making, if it's just you earning, or if you're earning, you as an S corp, if you pay yourself, well, you need to pay yourself every 2 weeks, right? Technically, or every month or whatever. And if you haven't done a sale, then you're not going to be able to pay yourself, right? And then
Right.
you have to pay yourself a constant amount. This is not like a W-2, like part-time W-2. You are a full-time employee. So you have to, and then the government, IRS or California, basically says, oh, well, you know, like you are paying yourself $20,000 as a real estate agent. Well, the reasonable estimated amount for real estate agents is $55,000 in California.
Uh,
So they won't let you pay yourself $20,000 a year. So like, and then you can pay yourself in disbursements later on, but for the most part, most bankers that I talk to, they love W-2s. But if your W-2 shows that you make $55,000 a year, that's what your borrowing power is. Even if you get disbursements, right? They don't, because disbursements are like almost like if you were self-employed and you're a 1099, right? Like if you're a 1099, they want to see 2 or 3 years of your tax returns, and they want to see that you're building more and you're making more and more every year, or at least you're keeping it consistent. As a W-2, you have the consistent W-2 and they like that, but then they're going to like see your disbursements, and maybe 1 year it's going to be, like, okay, you make $50,000. Maybe 1 year it's going to be $30,000 of disbursements. And the next year it's going to be $10,000 of disbursements. If they see like a big delta like that, banks are not going to loan you money, right? They're going to loan you based on your W-2, and that's it.
right.
So there are pros and cons to everything, obviously. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not your financial advisor. I think an S corp definitely has its time and place. As a single entity person, I personally don't think it's I personally don't think it's advantageous, right? Um, it's until you start making a lot of money, and then that's like when you can do a lot of other things. Like you can do 401ks. You can get into like uh, potentially better benefits, because like you're like a business owner, like that can join like other things, but like you can do all this stuff as a single member LLC as well. But just know that like it is a little bit more difficult, but if you have somebody who can guide you through everything, it's really not a big deal, right? You're going to see like a 2 to 3% savings, quite honestly, until you get to like 200K. Then that's like when things really start to work for you as an S
Now,
corp.
is it beneficial just to create an LLC without the S corp?
Yes, I say, and uh, and the reason why I do that is because I like to shed liability. I like to shed myself of liability,
Okay.
personally, because now I'm older. I have stuff. I have savings. I own like properties. Um, I don't want. I have a family. I don't want people to try to take that away from me, right? And the unfortunate fact is that in this world today, anybody's going to try to sue you for anything. So either you carry a hefty, insurance policy, or you create, a LLC, which sheds not all liability but a lot of liability from you. And that's like, hopefully you become very successful and then you start investing in real estate yourself, which is what the game plan should be for a lot of people. But once you start investing in real estate, then you got to look into things like, okay, well, if I have 3 pieces of property, and I'm renting 2 of them out, if one of my tenants gets hurt or something and she decides to sue me, well, she sues me for everything that I have, right? Yes, my insurance will cover it, but how much insurance do you want to carry, right? Like, Oh, like you're like, $1 million is fine. And like, oh, she hurt herself and she wants to sue you for $5 million. You're on the hook for all of that, right? You have that, all that liability is yours. That's why all investors basically, especially like big ones, every piece of property is in its own LLC because it confines liability to that one piece of property. It confines liability if I screw somebody's network system up. It confines liability to just my company and not my family.
Got it.
Right. So that is the biggest difference. And do you need to do it? Absolutely not. You don't. Is it nice to have? Yes. And another reason why I tell people to, start LLCs is, or you can do a DBA, but like if you're there doing a DBA, you might as well just do an LLC. Building business credit. This has nothing to do with tech, obviously, and what I've been talking about has nothing to do with tech, but building business credit is also incredible because you want to be able to leverage your business. You can leverage your personal, but you can also leverage another line of credit using your business. If you have a legitimate LLC, you open a business account with a bank, you open a business credit card, or you can use your personal credit card and only use that one credit card for business stuff. I like to keep things very separate. You do that, and uh, now your business, now you start showing, hey, look at like all the money coming in, even though it's just a pass through. The IRS looks at you, they look at your business and you as one entity because you're a single entity LLC, and they don't care, right? Anything you make, anything your business makes, you make. Anything you make, your business makes. But banks look at things a little differently. Banks will see your business and you as two separate entities. So when you start bringing money in to your LLC, and you can show, hey, look, I've been open for 2 years, and now I bring in $100,000 a year. Your bank will look at your business and say, oh, this business has cash flow. I'm going to lend them money if you wanted to do that, right? And you can go in and say personally, well, hey, look, these are my tax returns. I made $100,000 last year. And they'll be like, cool, we'll lend you money on a personal level. So then you have multiple, you can leverage yourself and leverage your business for bigger and better things down the road, right? Because as a real estate agent, obviously, if you're just going to do real estate, that's fine. But we will also, from a business perspective, what I like to tell all of my clients, you'd like to really hedge your investments. Obviously, you believe in your own business, but you also want to hedge your investments and you want to hedge in yourself, right? Like you want to make sure that like, hey, listen, if like, buying and selling real estate, like, it kind of takes a dip, I want to make sure I have something else to help me along and, cover me when that business isn't going so well, and vice versa, right? Like when buying and selling is going great, maybe the other thing that you are invested in doesn't work as well. So I like to tell people to set that up, get that in your head at least early so that you have a little bit more of a game plan of where you want to be, in the future, right? Because 70, I think the number is like absurd. It's like 78% of realtors quit after the first year. And that number rises to like 85+% after 18 months, right? So the biggest problem that I've seen is that people don't take it seriously. They think it's like, oh yeah, like I'm just like, working whenever, and other people are going at it the wrong way, right? Everybody has a different attitude. Everybody has a different personality. You need to find out what works for you. Like you're cold calling, and that's totally fine. For some people, cold calling just doesn't work. They're not good at like reading scripts. They're not good at like interacting with people like just over the phone. Some people need that warm physical like presence, right? To like really change things. I am one of those people, right? I can talk to you on the phone, no problem. But like where I really shine is if I meet you in person, it's over, right? Like I market my way that way. So find your niche. find out what your strengths and weaknesses are and identify them. And not only identify them, I want you to embrace them, right? Because don't do something that you're not good at. Spend your time doing something that you're good at so that you can make money, right? Like I tell people, if you are an amazing real estate agent, why bog yourself down for like 20 or 30 hours trying to make like a simple WordPress website when you can pay somebody else $500 to do it for you?
Right.
Right. And I want people to get into that mentality early, so that you don't get bogged down. But obviously, at the same time, you need to make sure that you have money to do this stuff too.
Right.
So, like in the beginning, if you're not making any money, I'm not telling you to go spend it, right? Like you should learn the basics of how to do certain things, how to like kind of keep your finances in order, how to keep your how to keep your CRM, and like how to do a little bit of marketing and how to do a little bit of that kind of stuff. I'm not asking you to be a pro at it, but you should know what goes into it. So that's like the number one thing that I hope people can take away from anything else that I say. I want you to I want you to prosper, and I want you to and I want you to like prosper and be happy about what you're doing, right? I want you to enjoy what you're doing. If you're cold calling and it's working for you, I'm not going to take that away from you. But if you're cold calling and you are just like, oh man, what, running out of motivation or after only like a couple days, or like hey, I've called 2,000 people and literally I have one maybe lead out of it, and it's just, if it's not working for you, I don't want to tell you to quit, but I want you to try to think of other ways to market yourself and other ways to network, right? The easiest networking thing that I do with people or that I tell people is basically, what do you do right now? Do you go to church? Are you in a club? Are you like, do you play like softball with a bunch of people? Like, do you, belong to a tennis club, whatever? What do you do that you are involved with a bunch of people who know you to a certain extent, who trust you to a certain extent? That is the easiest way to introduce yourself as a real estate agent. And you can, if you, even if you don't know these people that well, you can be like, oh yes, I forgot, what do you do? And they'll be like, oh well, I'm I don't know, engineer at Moog or engineer at SpaceX or whatever. Oh, that's awesome. Like, yeah, like they'll tell you, oh, I worked on the satellites that went up for the Starlink internet thing. You'd be like, oh, that's amazing. Naturally, they usually go, well, what do you do? So, oh, like, I used to do this, but I do real estate now. I help residential or commercial customers, whatever. And then like you have a little script in your head, and you don't make it too long, and don't seem to, I mean, for me, I say don't seem too desperate ever,
Mhm.
and just let people know. Other tips that I like tell people as you grow your business is, well, um, when you have to meet up with your friends at dinner and you're on like a group chat with them or something, you're just like, hey guys, or I don't know, you finish playing basketball with them, they're like, hey, let's go grab a beer at 9. Be like, oh, you know what, I'm probably gonna be a little late, guys. I have to go to open house. I have to show one of my clients an open house, or I have to go to open house with one of my clients, or I have a thing. And they're like, open house? What did like, oh yeah, you're a realtor. And
Mhm.
that kind of subtlety is great, right? Because it shows that you're busy, which means you're actually doing stuff, and
Mhm.
you're at perceived somewhat successful because obviously you have a client, right? And that
Right.
gets stuck in their head, and it kind of just like snowballs into whatever it is, right? So I'm not saying do it every single time, but I'm saying little subtle things like that are totally fine. um, Blast your success out on social media. I think that helps very big. Some people will be like, I don't care, and the majority of people are going to be like, I don't care. But some people who are be like, oh, that's awesome, man, Lance is doing his thing, look at that. And you can say, yeah, like, listen, I help my clients, like, oh, whatever, this house was, we negotiated to, it's like 15 grand under asking, whatever, you know get it there. Start small. Doesn't, not everybody could not everybody can land like a $10 million deal for their first deal, right? Rentals, leases, you can't discount those because they come back. And KW will tell you this, or they have told you this. They come back as buyers eventually, right? Or they come back like they might need to rent again or whatever, but eventually they're going to come back to you and they're going to buy from you, right? Especially if you do a good job. So these are all investments um, that you want to do for yourself and your clients. And yeah, so sorry, I've been talking a lot. Do you have any questions for me?
No, that all makes sense. Yeah. I don't know if there's anything else that you would recommend me do as a new agent, just to try and, I don't know, just for technology.
For technology, I mean, once you have your email set up, I would say just number one thing is CRM, right? You got to get that in there. Make a command also has a support line. I'm not super familiar with command, but command does have a support line that has been pretty good with syncing contacts. There's also a third-party app that I think will sync your Apple.
Oh yeah, PySync.
Yeah, PySync. Yeah, and it will do it for free, I think, once. But then, like, if you wanted to continue to do it, I think that's where you have to pay.
Yeah, like 15 a month, I think.
Yeah. So, I don't think it's necessary right off the bat, but yeah, once I would say just get into that CRM stuff. That's your main thing, and then we go from there.
Okay, cool.
Okay. Yeah. Again, if you have any questions, let me know. Obviously, the KW training program is like world renowned. Like literally, I've worked with a bunch of other agents, like from other brokerages, and they all say like, hey, if I could have went through KW first, or if they did go to KW first, they're like their training program is awesome. So like, don't discount anything that they tell you.
Sure.
I just do come in from a different angle because I'm not a real estate agent, right? Like
Right.
I also have my own business, and I also help a lot of people start their businesses. So um, I do come in from a different angle. Pick the low hanging fruit, and I can't stress that enough. So network within your family, network within your friends. That is going to be the easiest thing that you can do right off the bat. Um, find that balance of not being super desperate, but also letting people know, like, find a way to let people know that you're doing what you're doing, right?
Mhm.
And then once you get them to inquire, you already, it's half the work, right? The rest of the work is why should they go with you? And one is like, oh, I'm a trusted friend. I'm your family member. I hope you trust me. I obviously will do whatever it takes to get you the best deal, or sell your house for the most money, or get you the most realistic price, or blah 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 blah. I have the backing of a fantastic brokerage, right? Larchmont is a very successful brokerage in Southern California, right? Like it is, even considering its size, it's extremely successful. So, all the agents there, while they're your, kind of competition in a way, they're all there to help too. They want everybody to be successful. That's like one of the best things about like
Howie, can I get your email?
Yeah, sure. Technology at kwlarchmont.com. I'll text that over to you right now.
Okay.
Yeah, just shoot me an email. To my wife's demise, I am always on my phone. So
And I have one other question for you. So I noticed that some people have their own logo.
Mhm.
And so how does that work with like a business card or like branding yourself? So you can brand yourself with your own logo, but you also have to include that you're part of a brokerage.
Yes. Yeah. So your logo is whatever you want it to be. But then you do have to the name. So if you're just going to do your own name, that's totally fine. But if you want to register a name, you have to have the broker approve that. And then the California board has to approve the name, right? It can't be anything too weird. So yeah.
Because I just created a logo,
Mhm.
Landslab Homes,
Mhm.
like, a little icon of a home.
Mhm.
So I would have to ask them to approve that so that I could put that on a business card or.
For the most part, I don't think you do. But
Okay.
I mean, in the beginning, run everything by the broker. It's not a big deal. They'll
Okay.
tell you. It's fine. It's better safe than sorry, right? You don't want to spend all this time and then like spend like $500 making all these business cards, and then all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, your icon's okay, but like it has like a different name in there," or like, I mean, whatever, like lanceshomes.com, like they might be like, "Oh, that's actually registered to somebody else. You can't do that," or something like that, right? So just run it by them. It should be fine.
Okay. So on the business card, it would include, I can include my logo, but it also has to say KW Larchmont or just KW or.
You would probably need to, and I'm not 100% on this, but I'm pretty sure you would need to include KW Larchmont, and you would have to have the broker number on it. I think maybe, I don't know. Yeah, this is something I don't know. So unfortunately, but just ask away, and I think somebody will be able to answer you. Obviously.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, thanks for your time, Howie. I appreciate it.
No problem, man. Good luck, Lance. Let me know if you have any questions. All right.
All right. Cool. Thank you.
All right. Take it easy.
All right. Bye.
Bye bye. All right, Cameron. I'm out. I don't think you're listening to me anymore.